Rabindranath Tagore is very special person for Korean people. And as a little kids, even having snacks or cookies or fruits was kind of luxury. Bangladesh has been one of our priority countries. Bangladesh's export to Korea has been continuously increasing.
Welcome to TVS Face to Face. Today we have a very special guest. Is the South Korean Ambassador LEE Jang-keun. Thank you for joining with us today, Mr. LEE Jang-keun. He has been here in Bangladesh for the last 3 years, and it's time for him to go. And we thought that we'd interview him and learn about his stay in Bangladesh and the recent situation between Bangladesh and South Korea. Before we ask you the formal questions, the first thing, talk about your Bangladesh stay. How are you taking Bangladesh? You have taken Bangladesh in your heart.
Actually, I cannot believe that it's already a time for me to leave this country. I arrived here at the height of pandemic, July 2020, when the country was still under lockdown, and it was even very difficult for me to come here. It took me, more than 35 hours to come from Seoul because of, some transit in Qatar, Doha, and there I, waited 18 hours to get the flight to come to Bangladesh. So when I arrived, it was very strange time and very strange situation. So I was not that happy in the beginning because I could not meet the people. I only telephoned, to the people I need to talk. But after that, after the normalization of the situation, I really enjoyed, my stay and also my work here. And I feel now that I'm very lucky, and I somewhat blessed to come to Bangladesh and represent my country as an ambassador. And if I have not been here, then I have not known about this beautiful country and also this excellent, beautiful Bangladesh people. So living here after 3 years almost, I'm very satisfactory, and it will be a really unforgettable time for me in my life.
Okay. So what is the first time you have known about Bangladesh?
So I do not know when I first know the country, but usually, if someone who have not come here, they might not have that positive perception or image of this country.
Yeah,
because usually you know the country from some news coverage, yes. But when we face the news about Bangladesh, usually it's not
very pleasant
positive, like when the flood or air pollution or some disasters or the congestions in the cities. So all that was not that positive before I came, but after come here, I witnessed the remarkable economic progress of this country, not only just the recent few years, but for past several decades. And also I saw this very vibrant society, very enthusiastic community as well. So even the first touching scene I faced here is this rickshaw wallas. So I think that shows many things about this country. So their eagerness to make a good living, and also their passion for life. So that was first impression, or kind of first impression, but that lasts. So whenever I meet Bangladesh people, I felt the same, whether it is a rickshaw wallah or it is just the shop owner, restaurant owner, business owner, even the government people with whom I usually work with. They are, they are really passionate, and also talented and good people. And more than that, all Bangladesh people are very warm-hearted.
Thank you for, you have a changed perception about Bangladesh and all that, and you are sharing with us. But the other thing that you know a little bit of Bangla, how did you manage it?
Bangla language.
Yes.
Yes, it was interesting, because when I came here, as I could not meet people, I decided to take an online lesson of Bangla language. And I took several lessons online several months. So still my Bangla is very low level and limited. But I learned some useful vocabulary, and it helped me a lot to understand the country, and also to get along with the Bangladesh people. Okay. It was a very big asset, and
but your interaction with somebody Bengali was I mean, not interaction, but your knowledge about Bengali writers and things were had been before coming to Bangladesh, right?
Before, actually, no. But after I came here, I learned that the very famous poet, Asian poet, Rabindranath Tagore. Before I came here, I thought he was Indian, and but I realized that he was a Bengali. And also I learned that he wrote all of his work in Bengali language. Yes. So which I didn't know, which I realized after coming here. But Rabindranath Tagore is very special person for Korean people, because we learn about him from our textbook. I think a middle school or high school textbook, we learn Rabindranath Tagore.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. You know why we learn? Because, he wrote a poem for Korean people. He wrote and dedicated a poem to Korean people in 1929. And at that time, Korea was under Japanese colonial rule, and all the Koreans were kind of fighting for our independence against the colonial rulers. And this poem to Korean people was in English, the Lamp of the East.
Right.
So that poem gave a very big hope to all Korean people, whom were under some kind of dark period without the sovereignty. So for that we know, Koreans know, and but I didn't know, and maybe many Korean do not know that Tagore is Bengali.
Bengal.
So
there is a lot of works also written in right now political Bangladesh. That this part is he wrote, worked, and lived in both sides of this political Bengal. Two Bengals, I mean West Bengal and Bangladesh now.
I learned that yesterday was his birthday.
Yes.
So it was also very good to know about his work, about his life, especially about what and how Bangladesh people regard him as the greatest Bengali.
Going from there, I mean, back in 1929, even after that, Koreans have faced a lot of violence, a lot of war, and those kind of things. And even after when North Korea and South Korea were founded, after that there had been political turbulences in South Korea for a long time. That's very interesting. If we look back 50 years from today, how was Korea and how was Bangladesh, and how did Korea make so much progress despite its political turbulence? Would you shed some light?
So, as you said, after the Second World War, many countries got independent. So many countries now exist in the world are new countries.
Yes.
But in Korea's case, from the start of our independence, 1945, after a few years, we had to have this, internecine one. destroying war with our North Korean brothers.
Yeah.
So it was even difficult without war to build the country after independence. But because of the war, we have to start from the ashes. But Korea was lucky that now after 70, 80, almost 80 years, became very big model of success around the world. And there might be many reasons that Korea could make it happen. But maybe Korean people, work very hard and sacrificed for the future, and also huge investment in education. All the Korean parents at the time invested almost everything for their kids education.
And so education is number one.
Yes, that might be number one, hardworking education, and also strong political leadership, and I think more than that, the support from the international community, support from the other countries also helped Korea to build or rebuild our country and our economy. And that is the reason why we are trying to pay back to the international community, because Korea now would not be possible without the help of the international community. So we want to help other countries to be a successful country. That obviously will include Bangladesh.
Right. So before going to Bangladesh and Korea, may I ask you, when you were a child, did you imagine that this Korea, today's Korea, this as a brand Korea, did you imagine that back then? How hard was your life when you were a kid?
Maybe I might not have imagined, the future of Korea like this, because I lived in a local area, and as a little kid, even having snacks or cookies or fruits was kind of luxury. So we went around the fields and mountains with the small kids, friends, and get this, wild fruits. And we strolled around the rice paddies, and after the crop, there was a remaining, rice scattered around the paddies, and we collected them after the crop, and then and the school, gathered all this, the left crops, and they sold it, and they used the money for selling, for buying books for the children. So there was that kind of period, but one thing I can say is that I watched Korea growing, continuously. So including my family. If I see my family, my parents, they started in a humble house, but every year, every several years, they could improve. They bought a small house, then later moved to a bigger house, then later bought the land, and so my family also saw the increasing or continuous improvement of our household, and same for the country. So it was lucky, and I was kind of lucky generation, because I have not experienced colonial days. My parents did, my father and mother did, and I did not experience this war, very harsh war, but my parents did. But for me, I'm kind of baby boom generation. Even though my young days was poor, but I saw continued progress and development. So up to now, actually.
So coming back now to bridging Bangladesh with Korea, I mean, definitely Bangladesh and Korea, we have been in relationship for a long time, but in recent times, as I see that Bangladesh and Korea's internal exchanges. I mean, the Korea had become rich and very influential in terms of business and all that. But Korea's involvement in Bangladesh economy was other than Korean investment, was not that very big. But during your last 3 years of stay, there had been some significant signing of agreements, financial support. So would you shed some light on that? What kind of support, in which areas, and what is the philosophy?
So I'm very happy to see and observe that many important things have happened during my tenure here for last 3 years. Not just happening, but somewhat significant jump in several areas. And one of the areas which I saw the big jump, big development is our development assistance to Bangladesh. Bangladesh has been one of our priority countries in our development collaboration. But the size of our the so-called soft loan funding was not that big, especially compared with the other donors like Japan or United States or European Union, even ADB and AIIB. So there was a limitation for us to support big or bigger meaningful projects. Bangladesh is making a lot of infrastructure programs due to this rapid economic growth. So there was a big necessity for funding more meaningful or so-called mega infra projects. So before, our funding was just before my coming here. Actually, our funding kept the size was $500 million for 3 years period. But after I came, we signed another agreement to fund $700 million for 5 years period. But last year, we decided to significantly increase this size to $3 billion. So from $500 million to $3 billion for a 5 years term, it was a big jump. And the reason why we decided is first from the continuous request from Bangladesh government, and second, Korea's willingness to contribute to the more meaningful programs. So now, just last week, during the ERD Secretary's visit to Korea, on the occasion of ADB annual conference that happened in Korea, they inked this $3 billion bill. So from that, I think
this is a very soft loan, very favorable.
Yeah, this is one of the best condition loan, and this is the interest rate is very low. It's between 0.01 to 0.04%. So it's a very concessional loan, and repayment period is 40 years. With 15 years of grace period. So this is regarded as the best loan.
These loans will be spent for infrastructure projects like MRT?
Yeah, mainly. And there are big interests from both sides to implement this MRT, especially MRT line 4. So now, as we have this funding facility, I think there will be high possibility that Korea not only supports the project, but also participate in the construction of this very important project. And there will be other mega projects that Bangladesh might want Korea to be involved. And also from Korean side, also there are increasing interest and willingness, especially by the companies to do more activities here. So this will help both countries very much. And I have to say that in addition to this, what we call EDCF, this $3 billion of soft loan, but additionally in March this year, we agreed to utilize another financial facility, what we call EDPF, Economic Development Project Financing, which is a little bit higher condition or higher interest rates, but still very low compared with other, the development partners, the financing.
What is the difference? What is the characteristic of this loan?
This loan is not the development funding actually. The ODA is a part. It's part of commercial dealing, but still very low condition and
to be used
rates.
By what kind of projects?
Also, I think that will be complement the financing for some other project. If the EDCF funding cannot satisfy the big one project, and this other facility can be used for some other part of the project. Like
so it has got some flexibility in utilization.
Yes, there will be flexibility, and this EDPF can be also used by the Bangladesh local companies as well. So it will take time to materialize the use of this additional funding.
Okay. But, so this EPDF fund is available right now?
Yeah, agreement has been done.
Okay.
So, but it depends on the discussions and negotiations.
So if I summarize this, we have a different perception, just a 3 billion thing. Actually, what you're saying, there is a from last year, we have signed $6 billion worth of deal with Korea for financial support.
Yes. So signing is one thing, but the implementation of using this fund might take the various steps and procedures. So we have to find the project to be financed, and like feasibility study or discussions on or even negotiations on the very detailed conditions.
Okay.
So
is there any hard conditions there? Is there?
It's the important condition is already there, but to make a good project. And one specific project, first we have to identify. Then for the project, there will be a loan agreement to be signed. So loan agreement is for the specific project. And if that loan agreement is signed, then the project is at the stage of implementation. Money can start be disbursed.
Also, there is a significant development is that trading between Bangladesh and South Korea has crossed $3 billion mark for the first time, and it has been triggered by a lot of petroleum goods import. But how do you look at it? I mean, also from Korean side, we can see that Korean fashion brands coming to Bangladesh, opening office and sourcing from Bangladesh. These are new things. So how do you look at that?
So I'm very happy to see this big development in trade area between our two countries, because when I came here, I was very surprised to see the very stagnant situation of our bilateral trade. Actually, the trade volume reached the highest level in 2011.
Yes.
But after that, for more than 10 years, more than 1 decade, it remained the same level or even decreased. So why? Korea's economy was also developing. Bangladesh's economy was very rapidly developing. Then in the situation, why trade didn't go up, but decreased? So that was very curious question to me. And during pandemic time, 2020, it went further down. So in 2011, it was $1.8 billion in both ways.
Right.
Highest.
Yes.
But it remained 1.567. Never went up to 2 billion. And 2020, it was 1.5 billion. So 10 years time, from 1.8 to 1.5. So it's not a healthy sign for our relations. But finally, in 2021, it reversed. The 2021 trade volume became $2.3 billion. First time it crossed 2 billion. So from in more than 10 years actually.
Yes.
And more surprisingly, after 1 year, last year 2022, it crossed $3 billion. So from $1.5 billion when I came,
Just
to
within 3 years, it
$3
just doubled.
billion, so it's doubled. So this is I might not say that it's some role from my side, but I'm very happy to see that this is happening, and this has happened finally during my time. So my goal is to maintain this increasing trend.
Yes, but a lot of petroleum products import
Yes,
from
yes.
side.
Yeah.
But from Korean side, did the Korean import from Bangladesh increase?
Obviously. Actually, Bangladesh's export to Korea has been continuously increasing,
Yes.
even though not in a big manner. So like 2011, when we reached the historic high, the Bangladesh's export to Korea was $10 million around. But last year, your export to Korea was almost $700 million.
All right.
So from 100 to 700 million for the 1 decade is not a small small development. But the majority of Bangladesh export to Korea is still RMG. But Bangladesh's portion in Korean RMG market is still around 4%.
It's very small.
Very small. Korea has more than $10 billion of RMG market. China is 33%. Bangladesh, the second largest garment exporter, is still 4%. So even in one item in RMG, there are very big room, to increase.
Even with so many Korean RMG investors in Bangladesh,
Yes.
so they don't export back to Korea, right?
So actually, yes or no, and that is also one important thing that Bangladesh government should look into. Korea has been providing duty-free, quota-free access to Korean market by Bangladesh products. 95% of our Bangladesh products is duty-free since 2009 or at least 2012, for more than 10 years. So why not export more to Korea, where you do not have any duty? Korean products, they have to face very high,
Cost.
tariff when they want to, come to Bangladesh. But the Bangladesh's product is duty free. So that means the Bangladesh should make more serious, very vigorous effort to expand market in Korea.
Next to RMG, what could be Bangladesh potential in Korea?
Some items that is price competitive. That will be one area. And now Bangladesh is making many household items.
Yes.
And Korea also, they need good quality and low price household goods. So if there is enough buyers from Korea, then I think it will be easily increased. And another thing is this fisheries and agricultural products. And Bangladesh is obviously world number 2, 3, 4, main agricultural or fishery product producer. So Korea is not far, and we consume a lot of this agricultural fishery products.
Right.
And so that is also another area. And I saw some meaningful development in this export last year. If you see these figures of last year and this year as well, then finally we see some increasing, even though still the size is small, but we are importing the agricultural or fishery product. That can be increased further.
Okay. So talk about little bit about FDI flow from Korea to Bangladesh. What is the Korean situation? Because the Koreans have been the first pioneering foreign investor in Bangladesh, Mr. Kyaksung.
Yes. So as you said, Korea has been the first RMG foreign investor in this country. And actually, with the partnership with Korean companies, Bangladesh could start factory level RMG industry as early as 1998 and 9. And by 1978 and 79. And by 1980, already Korean company came, this young one, the first Korean investor came and started the production for what they said, for exporting to Swedish market. So Korean company, at that time, the Bangladesh's portion of RMG export abroad among the all export items was less than 1-2%. But after they started collaborating with Korean company, Daewoo and also this young one, this portion grew very fast, and it reached up to 25% of total exports in 1987. So in few years' time, it grew very fast. And Korea has been with Bangladesh from the start, and also to the growth and even the current RMG situation. Korea has been with Bangladesh throughout this period. But diversifying our investment beyond RMG is a task and also challenge. But Korea has been continuously one of the top foreign investors in this country. And according to the very recent statistics by Bangladesh Bank, as end of last year, Korea ranked number 4, fourth largest foreign investor after US, UK, and Singapore, then Korea.
Is the Korean investment still in RMG only?
RMG still accounts for majority of Korean investment. But the more interesting thing, if you look at these statistics from the beginning and up to now, Korea is still number 4. But if you see the statistics of last year, 2022, in 1 year, Korea was number 1. So in the total size of new investment.
Right.
So it's almost a little bit less than $400 million in 1 year time.
Okay. That's a great thing. Mr. Ban Ki-moon had played a very major role in Bangladesh, and especially Bangladesh and Korea. How is he doing? And how do you view his contribution to Bangladesh relationship?
So I met him, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, several times. Even before I came here, I paid a visit to him, and he very proudly explained to me about his role and engagement in the beginning of Korea-Bangladesh relations in 1972 or 1973, and actually. It was Mr. Ban Ki-moon who wrote a telegram to inform Korea's recognition of newly independent Bangladesh in May 1972.
Right.
So in our diplomatic document, I found the clear name of Ban Ki-moon signed. So he drafted the document and instructed to our embassy in New Delhi, because there was no embassy here. So through your representative in New Delhi, we informed our former recognition. So for that, he has a very deep attachment to this country, and that was even deepened during his secretary generalship.
Yes.
So he visited Bangladesh at least 2 times during his term.
Yes.
And I understand that he visited even after his retirement. So he has a big interest, big affection to this country.
Yes.
So I believe he might be a good asset for our two countries to further deepening and strengthening the relations. And he's very busy. He's an international person. So he is asked to, he is invited to, many international conferences. And he is heavily involved in climate change related issues and education, global citizenship, even peace and security. He is also very active.
Korea had been a very sophisticated manpower market for Bangladeshi job seekers. So how is it shaping up now?
Korea has a very special program for foreign workers, what we call EPS, Employment Permit System. Through the system, we are legally taking expatriate workers from 16 countries. And Bangladesh has been one of the 16 countries. And but the number we have taken from Bangladesh was not that big. So before the pandemic, on average, we used to take Bangladeshi workers annually around 1,500,
Right.
not more than 2,000. And this pandemic even stopped taking these Bangladeshi workers, not only Bangladesh, but all the workers from other countries. But after the pandemic situation is improved, we started to take again. And 2022, last year actually, we took 6,000 Bangladeshi workers. So it was a very
Sudden jump.
Yeah, big jump, more than three times.
Three times.
Larger than previous years. But this year, we decided to further increase. So this year, we plan to take at least 10,000 Bangladeshi workers. And they are all factory workers with low and medium skill, the possession. But additionally, this year, not only increase the number of EPS workers, we started to take another type of skilled workers from Bangladesh just this year. So that is in the shipbuilding area.
All right.
So shipbuilding requires some special, skills. So especially welding and also painting. So we took already 104 Bangladesh workers in the different category. They will receive much higher salary. So this is a new development, and if they show good capacity, then the number.
So do these workers need to pay some exorbitant fees to get qualified or things? What is the process?
The process EPS workers, the qualification we are asking is only their language skills.
Yeah.
So they have to pass the minimum level of Korean language test.
Yeah.
So once they...
Where would they apply for? I mean, what is the contact point? Is this manpower agents or what?
Yes. In Bangladesh, there is a government agency, Boisel.
Right.
They are recruiting
Okay.
from Bangladesh is Boisel. From Korean side, we have another agency called HRD Korea, Human Resource Development Korea.
Yeah.
They are in charge of taking this, foreign workers to Korea, because they also have to qualify.
Yeah.
But again,
so they have to learn
Korean language.
a little bit Korean language.
Yeah, because
and they have to have their basic skill of their work.
Yeah. So if they are healthy enough
Yeah.
to work at the factory, and then if they pass the language, then they will be eligible for going to Korea. why language is important? Because they have to communicate with their employers, with their colleagues. Korean employers, they do not speak English, do not speak, Bangla. So the worker experience, to communicate, not only to live, to communicate with their, supervisors or.
So will it be growing up in the coming years if we have really qualified manpower and all that?
Of course. That is one of the big things that HRD Korea is doing here. Because before, when we take only 1,500, the number of language testers were not that big. Even at that time, it was big.
Yeah.
But if we want to take more than 10,000, that means, we have to prepare the people.
Right.
That means we have to give them a test of opportunity. So now it's almost every week we have to offer this test opportunities for, Bangladesh, potential workers. So but this Korean system is regarded as one of the best example in recruiting these expatriate workers. And more important thing is the Korea is the most popular destination by Bangladesh workers. First, because of high salary they receive. The Korea treat the foreign workers the same as Korean workers. No discrimination. So they get at least the legal minimum wage of Korea. So that is around $2,000 per month. This is quite handsome money for them. And it's only minimum. So some who work extra hours or some work very hard. Even I met someone who used to receive, $5,000, even $6,000 per month.
Yeah, I don't make that much money.
Yeah, so Korea, so the salary is quite high level, and also very good labor protection, labor right protection. So Korea become a very advanced country in labor rights and labor protection. So foreign workers are equally protected by our law, even though there might be many problems and difficulties still. But at least we have a very solid legal, system, and also more than that, the living environment. Korea is a fascinating country to have many things to enjoy.
Right.
So like this, the Korean music, dramas, or Korean food, which is very popular around the world. So those workers going to Korea not only earn money, but
there is
also
a Bangladeshi actor who's very popular in Korea.
Yes, Mahbub. Yeah, he went to Korea as a worker.
Yeah.
But as he showed talent in acting, he became an actor. And later he became a movie director.
It's a very amazing story himself.
There are that kind of very good story among these Bangladesh expatriate workers in Korea.
Yeah.
So they will be also very good, important asset to develop our bilateral relations.
Yeah. One last thing that we have. Korea wields a lot of soft power in Bangladesh, as in many countries. I mean, Korean music is very popular, Korean electronics, not to mention, and also Korean films. These have a lot of appeal, and Korean fashion, it's also... So it's natural to expect that some Korean films would be coming to Bangladesh in Bangla or in channels. So is there any kind of cultural collaboration between Korea and Bangladesh?
Actually, my embassy is doing our best to introduce more culture-related activities and programs into Bangladesh. And now, despite the huge interest, our programs, our plan is not that big. I can say somewhat small. but there is an area where I or my embassy will and need to expand our work, and because it is about the future of our relations.
Yes.
Those who enjoy and love this Korean culture, K-pop, K-drama, food, they are usually young people. So young people are the future
Right.
of Bangladesh, and they will be the one who will lead lead the cultivation of our relations. So if these young people are so fond of Korean culture and raised in that manner, then they will be a very positive, source for the promising future of Korea-Bangladesh relations. And for that reason, I believe that we have to make more effort to make the most use of current, the passion of Korean the culture in this country, especially.
Thank you. I think I took more time than I would have normally taken, but you talked very interesting things about Korea and Bangladesh, and also Korea in general. So I would conclude this program, and thanks a lot, Mr. Kun. And if the audience have enjoyed this program, then please like and share our program. We'll see you again.